Hey Blackburn Social Club, God bless America. Impromptu video. I wasn't planning on comparing these two boots head to head. I was actually planning on doing something a little bit more inclusive, maybe, like with against a lot of those I'm going to call them a little bit more expensive gentleman type boots, mid-tier boots. Really, I would even call them higher than mid-tier, but I know that there's always going to be somebody that's outpricing them, and I have really talked about the value that at least these two boots bring, or these two boot makers bring. So that being said, these are probably comparable. I mean, there is comparable as you could hope to get. This is the Grant Stone brass boot in black waxed deer, and this is the Anise Kudu from Parkhurst. This is the Niagara. Both of these are similar in that they are mock toe or faux mock toe boots. Both of them, and what I mean by that is it's not a two-piece vamp. These are just for the stitching is just for show. So you can see this is the 602M last for the Anise Kudu Parkhurst boot, and this is the Floyd last for the Grant Stone brass boot. And there's the, this one's got a little bit more pronounced stitching, or like a pulled together stitching. I will have already done, you can go back and look at some of the other videos. I've already done a longer video on the brass boot alone. I've done a longer video on the beaver fur kudu. Plain toe is what I've got the beaver fur in. But I was talking to Gabe, and so this whole video is for Gabe. This boot, and forgive me on forgive me on the brass boots, the Grant Stone brass boots. I've been putting these through the paces. Probably got about week and a half, maybe 7-8 days wear on these, and probably really truly right about the same on the Anise Kudu Niagara boots. What I was talking to Gabe about in some of the comments, we were saying that we're trying to compare the two last and the sizing on these last. And I'll be clear with you guys. I used to just buy based on size, and I used to just buy based on approximate, if somewhere between 11.5 and 12. And I know I've said it before, I've started kind of sliding back down towards 11 and 11.5. I've actually got a video coming because I've got a Brannick device that I'm going to bring in. We're going to do a whole video about the Brannick. But anyway, long story short is both of these are 11.5s, and he was asking how they fit, because the Floyd last, which is this Grant Stone, is they typically tell you to take a full size down from your Brannick sizing, and usually when boots tell me to do that, I get nervous, because I start thinking about the whole process of sending something back, and the struggle, and so I hate doing that. And almost always I'd prefer a bigger sock and just to wear something a little bit loose. But so he was asking me about that because he's got a friend that did take the full size down and loves it. So FYI, I think that's an accurate thing to do. If you're going to look at the brass boot, which is, if you're going to do that, it's their widest last, I probably would take the full size down. I could have easily taken a half size down and been fine, but still would have been able to wear a big thick boot sock. But in this case, I'm still happy with the boot. It still fits me well. And what I mean by that is you can choke up on fits in the heel, fits in the midsection of the foot. It's just got quite a bit of room and quite a bit of height on the toe, and so in the toe box. And I tried to explain, and that's why I said I'm just going to do a video. I think the profile of the brass boot, it's got more of that bump toe, or that, I don't know what you call that, that boxy toe, which just makes your foot, even though the shape may be the same, and I'm gonna see if I can't hold these to where you can see the shapes. You can see the shape of the brass boot is even still a little bit more rounded at the toe, whereas this one, the Parkhurst, is a little bit more pointed. So I think the mixture of all that, the rounded feature of the Floyd Last, the bulbous, proud, and that is a structured toe, the bulbous toe, as well as just the sheer width of it, makes this a roomy boot. Now that being said, I grew up in Thorogoods and in mock toe Red Wings, and so to me, I'm very used to what I'm talking about here, which is just choke the laces down, and then just let your feet splay out, let them breathe. So doesn't bother me a bit. Again, I just wear a different sock and I'm good to go. So really like it, but if you're looking at the brass boot, definitely consider half a size, if not a full size, down. That being said, quality on it is phenomenal. Really impressed with the leather, good thick leather, the kip lining. I mean, it's a really impressive boot. So again, not a thing in the world wrong with it. And I know I said it in that other video, but just while I'm doing the comparison, I really like they've got a thick rubber heel on here, which helps in the suppression or the insulation, the jarring of your foot. So you can really tell you're walking on a good, comfortable rubber commando sole. That may be, I don't know if it's commando, maybe they call it a half lug sole, I think. But anyway, 360 welt, really good looking boot. But again, there's your profile. Let me see, there's your side profile there of the brass boot by Grant Stone. Great boot, extra roomy in the front. It's got that bump toe thing, box toe. Again, great boot. Now I'm going to set that aside and talk about this. This boot by Parkhurst, this was a sleeper to me, to be honest. When I got this, I ordered it. This one I got via eBay. I think I got it on eBay. Didn't even buy it from Parkhurst myself. But immediately after getting it and appreciating what I was looking at and what I'm holding, I immediately started looking up more about Parkhurst and got in contact with them, learned a little bit more, ordered another pair of boots, again, immediately, and that's the Beaver Fur Kudu. And now I've got another pair of boots that I've already teased, or it's on the Instagram channel. I've got another pair of boots I'm already excited about. So the problem with these Grant Stones and the Parkhurst boots is once you've held that kind of quality at what I'll say is a very affordable price point, or at least a very value added price point, it's a no-brainer. And you start looking at the shoe stores and the big box stores, and you start going, I'm not, I'd rather buy this and keep my money here and keep my value high. So anyway, that's enough biasing. I just want to talk about the boot now. I tend to prefer this one. I've said it before, the Last feels a lot like the Alden Indy to me. The 602M Last, which maybe stands for modified, but if you haven't seen the other video, what it refers to is a little bit narrower in the heel and a little bit narrower through the foot. So it's like a D size from here down, and it's like a wider E size up here. it really reminds me of the Alden Indy. I mean, not only does the look with that low profile toe, you can see that it's still a structured toe. It's not. It's still a structured toe, but it's not quite as pronounced as the brass boot. It's got the lower profile stitching, which keeps it a little bit sleeker and a little bit, I mean, if I'm being honest, just a little bit more attractive. And quality is 100% there. I mean, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous boot. Now, I'm going to tell you what I love. I mean, look at the character on that boot. This is the Anise Kudu, which is the African antelope, I believe. I'm not, I didn't learn that on National Geographic. I had to look at the boot. I had to look at the manufacturing information that came with it. But this is also a 360 welt. You know, the welting goes all the way around. But the character on this is insane. And it shows up, I mean, it shows up so well. I mean, it just looks so good. So while both of these boots are attractive, I do find myself staring at this one more, just because again, I'll just be sitting in my office and I'll realize that I've been looking at my boot for a good minute. So anyway, looks good with blue jeans. Same half lug sole. I'm not going to show you the sole because it's been muddy, and I probably should have cleaned the boots before I started doing a review on camera. But again, the comparison on the toe, what I'm trying to say here is it's got more of the pointed almond toe, which takes up some of that width in the boot, and with a lower profile or a sleeker toe height, I just think this fits better. I think if I were to compare this boot, let me say it like this. This being an 11 and a half fits better than that being an 11 and a half. If I were to get that in an 11 or that in a 10 and a half, we'd be talking apples to apples again, and I'd only be complaining about the height of the toe on that one. But this one, because of the longer profile, or the length of the boot, and the way it narrows, it just fits the whole foot better. So Gabe's got a YouTube channel, ED. I want to say it's Ed Boulevard is what it is. Ed B. Screw it. I'm just gonna I'm gonna tag you, Gabe, if that's okay, because he's got way more boot videos. He's a wealth of knowledge, and it really seems to be a pretty decent, cool boot guy. But again, to answer your question, this particular, Gabe talks a lot about last. And if you're going to be into boots, you really need to know about last, because it'll keep you from buying a lot of stuff. It'll keep you from wasting your money on a lot of stuff, and you won't have to run around taking stuff back quite so much, because that's just like I talk about in the selvage denim and the vanity sizing with jeans and all that. Lasting on boots is the same concept. It's just confusing at times, but the point is that people have all different shapes of feet. Therefore, there's a lot of different shapes of last, and once you find what fits your foot, once you really find it, you're good to go. You're good to go. Then you can just play around and get different leathers and different colors and different things like that. So to me, this one's right up there with the Alden Indy as far as one of the best fitting last. That's the 602M last. Such a good boot. Such a good boot. No knock against Grant Stone. Again, really great boot. Could have done a half size smaller, but again, still an attractive boot. Still got that wide toe box. So that being said, I think that's it. I just want to do a quick video. I'll try to get it uploaded quick so that any boot people out there, that they can be more informed. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for following. Thank you for all the subscribing and the communication, man. The community is great, and I've enjoyed it. You guys be blessed. Talk soon.